Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Oston code Cypher back again with another simple tutorial on web development. So I'm going to be showing you how you can flip images on your website. This may not be a nice looking project, but still we don't create websites for ourselves, but we create them for the users. So leaving users amazed and wondering how it's being created by the developer, still to look nice. But I'm not saying this is the best effect out there you can apply on images, but I wanted you to be having that small written knowledge on how you can be creating this. If you already know it, please you can skip to the next video, but I'm always creating content for beginners, showing them how things are made. So right now I'm having 3 images, but the moment I enter the cursor onto them or I hover over them, see, they switch position. The same applies to the middle one, see, and the same applies to the photo of me, that is team. So I'm going to be showing you how you can create this nice effect on your website. It's going to be very simple. So always don't look at the front end and get scared about the code behind it. It's going to be very simple. So let me first reload this page and we remain with nothing. As I promised you, it's going to be very simple. You saw them, they were centered, so I'm going to use some old way of centering stuff, but I beg you don't use it unless you need it. But yet some old way of centering stuff, so I'm going to put some H2 and I say flip an image. See, everything is centered, but there are better ways of centering using CSS. I just wanted to make this simple for you guys. Now I'm going to put the images using this image tag. So I'm having the first image here called New York.jpg. So right now when I save and preview it, see, it's going to be very big. So I'm going to use some inline width or 300 pixels. The same applies to the height, so I want them to balance. 300 pixels. Let's save this and preview it in the browser, and that's what we are having. So I'm not going to go ahead and write again the image tag for the second image. I'm just going to copy the first one, paste it, Ctrl V on your keyboard, and I'm going to change the name. And I'm having another image called emoji. And what's different about it, it has the extension of PNG, the portable network graphics. I'm going to paste another image and it's called team. So I'm going to say team.jpg. Save and preview it in the window. So that's our 3 images we are having. Right now nothing happens when you hover over them, so they are static. And this is when we introduce some simple CSS. I'm going to use the internal styling or style sheet, so you can get rid of this type. It's not mandatory that you have to use it. So what I'm going to do is target them by the tag name, which is img. So we shall say img for colon hover. So on hover, what we're saying, when we place the cursor over them, want something to happen. So what do we want to happen? It's the transform property, and we are assigning this value of scale x of -1. This is what we need to write only. Transform scale x -1. Refresh the page, guys. Very simple. So this is the original state. So when the cursor hovers over them, they switch position. Same applies to that. The same applies to that. So when you leave, it goes back to the ready state. Oh, sorry, I'm using the Ajax language here, so it goes back to original state. So you're seeing, very simple. So but still there are browsers that may not interpret or run this rule you have written. So there are some stuffs called web prefixes, whereby you can target different browsers and let them run the rule you have written here. So there is WebKit, specify the web prefix and then the property used, which is transform, and then you set the value used of -1. Still, for users on Opera Mini, you can use O, that's their web prefix. Then you write the property used, which is transform, and you pass in the value, which is scale x -1. So these are options, but still, to be safe, to make your rule run even on browsers that may not be interpreting them, you can apply these web prefixes. So they won't affect your images on your website, they will still run, but in case they meet browsers that do not read this rule, they will apply the web prefixes. So guys, I guess that's it. Now some extra tip: you may not be wanting all your images to be flipping, you wanted only one. Let's say this funny nice looking emoji to be laughing about these two images. So you can give it an ID of emoji. So instead of using the general tag name, which is, as you can see, if I highlight it, they all get highlighted. So I can use the ID of one image to flip. Let's say want that emoji to be laughing about these two images. So we shall say hash emoji. That's the ID we have given. So if you are to refresh this page, when you come over this, it's doing nothing. This is doing nothing, but the moment we go in between them, the emoji will be laughing about these two images. So very simple. So that's how you can flip your images on your website. It may not have been a nice looking project, but still it gave you some little knowledge on how you can do this. Very simple. Always don't look at the front end and you start suggesting the code behind the images. This is the line you need to create such nice looking effect. Let me change these images to this, so it should be laughing at me. Very simple. So guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it on different social medias, and I will see you in the next tutorials. Peace.